All right, Becky, I'm adding you. There it goes.
Hi. I was trying to get this set up. Ooh, I'm close.
Yeah. That's okay. Take your time.
I had it all one way, and then it told me I had to turn it around. So now I'm having to turn
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You had to turn it sideways. I don't know why, but it does. Okay, awesome. We're getting some viewers. And I'm gonna apologize ahead of time if you hear my dog barking. He's a barker. Don't start.
Well, I came in my room. I'm hoping that my dogs don't wake or don't bark.
My dog's forever barking. Oh my goodness. Any little sound he hears, he goes crazy. All right, we're getting some viewers. We got 7 viewers. Hey, 8. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. For those that are watching and tuning in, please make sure you share this. Share it so we could get more viewers and we could bring awareness and educate people and also motivate and inspire people that are going through some type of illness. It doesn't necessarily have to be with lung cancer or cancer, but just these videos would just inspire and give people hope. Okay,
Yes.
but make sure you share it because I want to not only bring more awareness about lung cancer, but I want many people to hear these stories, watch these stories, and to educate people about lung cancer. Um, so um, this is Becky. Becky is actually a caregiver. She is
Yes.
going to not only share her husband's story. Now, her husband is the one diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and he is also ALK positive, correct, Becky?
Yes.
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 So he is like me, ALK positive, but he is stage 4. So she is going to share his story as well as her story, her side as being a caregiver. Now, when I first started doing this video, the only other caregiver story or video out there is my husband Steve. He was the very first one that that we did this, but we were sitting side by side and he shared his story as a caregiver. So Steve is the first, but Becky is the second, but she's going to do both. Her husband, because he's shy, he doesn't want to come on Facebook Live on camera, which that's understandable. But Becky is going to share his story, what he is going through now, what he has overcome, uh, and then her side of the story, and then any type of advocacy work, if they've done any. I don't think, don't quote me, you haven't really started, right? Or have you guys done any?
Not really. I did some like a fundraiser for my birthday kind of thing, and we raised $1,000. But it's just been so. It's just hard to try to get in there
Yes,
and figure out. So it was really encouraging to go to ALK Summit and meet people and kind of get that
yes.
because you just with this kind of diagnosis you feel oh God, I'm getting feedback. Um, you just feel like that you're not smart enough. You don't understand exactly what you're needing and oh gosh, this is crazy. I'm repeating everything I say. Um,
Take unplug it and then plug it back in from your
okay.
phone. See if that helps. There you, let's see. I don't hear feedback.
Okay, that
You're good?
yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
But it's just with that kind of diagnosis, you just don't feel smart enough. You don't feel like you have the information to go out there and push it. So I've just been like I've been trying to research and figure things out
Yes.
and figure out where my spot is and then so I want to be an advocate. I want to let more people know, it's not just, you're a smoker, you have lung cancer or, that stigma. I want to get the word out and tell the story and all that stuff more. So,
Right. Yeah, and don't worry, it'll come because I was the same way. And you start when you share your husband's story and your story as a caregiver, you already started your advocacy work. And then from there, it'll all come in place. So don't worry. So just by you going to the Elk Summit, meeting people, getting a feel and doing this. So this is like, you could say, your start of your advocacy for your husband and yourself.
Right.
So this here, and then from here, things will fall into place and doors will open. So don't worry, it'll get there. I know the same with me, but so tell me, your husband was diagnosed when?
September the 26th, 2018.
Okay. So it's been about a year.
Yes, coming up on a year.
Okay. So the first year, even going up into the second year, it's such, how can I say it? For us, and maybe for you it's different, but it was like a fog, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, I have lung cancer. I'm fighting it. I'm going through all this, the mixed emotions. And then, so you're not really, and I get it, trust me. So advocacy work is not really right now like your priority. It's in the back of your head. You're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I am going to get into it. But right now your focus is your husband getting well and yourself, because you too need help. You too need someone to talk to. You too need to get out and breathe, because it's a lot on you as a caregiver. And that I understand, because I was a caregiver for my dad, and then my husband became my caregiver. So I get it. And the first year or two, it's very hard. When I was diagnosed, the first thing I went to, and it wasn't even within a year, I went to the Longevity's Hope Summit. And from there, it's like, okay, this is something that I would like to do. But I gave myself some time, and because I know it's overwhelming, and it's like, your priority is getting your husband well, getting him stable, all that stuff. So I get it. So, but at least this is a start, and you want to share his
Right.
story and bring awareness. And so my audience, I remember, share this video so others can watch and get educated. And I'm going to now hand it over to Becky, and she is going to start. And she's going to start with her husband and herself. Just listen to her. If you want to ask any questions, put them in the comments, and she'll answer them for you. Okay, so go ahead, Becky. Wipe, not a swipe. I said a wipe. Swipe to the left or right. Just don't. You should be able to see them.
It's not working.
Try left or try right. No, you're upside. You're sideways. You got it?
No.
Okay.
It didn't work. You'll have to read
It
them
didn't
to
work?
me. No.
Okay, yeah. If you swipe, let me see. Yeah, if I swipe to this is my right hand. So if I swipe to the right, they disappear. If I swipe to the left, they reappear. So with your fingertip, just touch your screen and go to the left. No, it's not.
It does
doing
it when I'm if I'm watching Facebook Lives and stuff, I can see.
You should be able to.
But it's not.
Okay.
Believe it.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll read them to you.
You can just read it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read them to you. So go ahead, take it away.
So his story started. He's 30. He was 38. And we were just a normal family. We have 3 kids. We have a 14-year-old son, a 13-year-old daughter, and a 6-year-old son. And he just had a cough. And I mean, I can look back now and see. That was it. It was just a cough and into his finger the whole time we've been together. So just trying to get him to go to the doctor was impossible. But his cough just kept getting worse and worse, and he's a deer hunter. So it was coming up on deer season, and I was like, there's no way you can hunt and cough like this. I said, you're going to have to go to the doctor. So we took him to the immediate care, and especially listening to your videos on Thursdays and stuff, I see just how blessed we are. we went on a Sunday morning. Um, the nurse practitioner did a X-ray, and she's like, something just doesn't look right. And the ER doctor wanted her to just send him home and treat him for pneumonia, but she said he's not sick. He just has a cough. There's just something more. So
Mm-hmm.
she had a schedule for a CT scan the next morning. He had an appointment the next afternoon with a pulmonologist, and so then we had the CT scan. The pulmonologist on Monday afternoon had a, he said, yeah, there's something here. We need to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, let's do a biopsy in the morning. So the next morning he did a biopsy on Tuesday morning, and by Wednesday we knew it was non-small cell adenocarcinoma. We knew. And then it just moved really fast after that. He did do a round of chemo and Keytruda, just because his symptoms had gotten worse. He was coughing more, and just just more tired, I guess. And he had coughed up
Mm-hmm.
some blood, and the doctor said, he just wanted to go ahead and start him on some kind of treatment because all of his blood work had not came back, and all of his biopsy stuff hadn't came back to say that he was out positive. So then once he did that round, we were going back for like the checkup and the your little routine before you have your next round. And he said, well, all the rest of the stuff came back and you're out positive. And so that takes us back to a whole new level. So he started Allicent's alectinib, whichever people call
Mm-hmm.
it. He started that on December the 2nd, and he just had stable scans throughout that until we went to the beach in August, or the last week of July into August of this year, and he did okay, but it was just hot, and he just kind of laid around. But on Saturday on our way back, he was just like he was done. He wasn't eating. He had no appetite, no energy, anything, and like he had barely missed any work through this whole entire journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew something was wrong. So we went to the doctor on Monday, and we already had our routine CT scan coming up. But he went ahead and he said, well, let's just do an MRI on your brain just to check. And that came back clear. And then on that Friday, and so on Monday he had his CT scan. And that afternoon, the doctor called and he said, okay, he's got some fluid on his lung, and it looks like this main tumor has grown. So we went back to the pulmonologist. He had the thorax. I could not say that word ever. The where they drain the lung,
Mm-hmm.
thorax. He had that done, and he had a bronch, and then he had the PET scan, which we had that this week. We had it on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we had to meet with the radiologist because the doctor had already said let's do something to kind of shrink that tumor to see if we can get you feeling better. So the radiologist read us the PET scan and said that, of course that had grown, but he also had 3 spots on his pelvic, his rib, and his spine. So, of course, now it looks like we're switching to the lorlatinib, and he's going to do some shots for the bones. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where we are now as far as
Okay.
treatments and stuff.
So before he found out he was ALK positive, you said that he was on what was it, Keytruda?
The chemo Keytruda combination, yeah.
Okay, and that didn't do anything, right?
It did, actually.
Oh, it did.
I see, like, so many people say they don't have a good response, but he actually, that was really the biggest shrinkage that he had was when he had that round. That was the most that we really had. So, yeah, it was,
Wow.
yeah.
So then there is a possibility that if you're ALK positive, that Keytruda could probably could work.
I'm not saying that if he would have continued that it would have worked. It could have maybe just been the
But it,
chemo or what.
yeah,
But, yeah, it did.
but it
That
did
for,
something.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, well, that's interesting to know. Wow. You learned something new at all these interviews, and that's what people don't understand. Lung cancer is a very complicated cancer. And
yes,
they're trying to do these combos. Like you said, they're trying to figure out, okay, what works, what doesn't work. But everyone's body is different.
right, right.
Okay, so he's ALK positive, and they put him in alectinib, which, okay, that's a lot of people. Now I notice they start on that. Why why didn't they put him on Xalkori, which is crizotinib first?
That was never even discussed. It was just straight. And that at this time, I would not Google. I was not a good advocate for my husband. I didn't Google. I would not. I wouldn't join lung cancer groups because I didn't want to see. I didn't know what I would
Yeah.
see, and I
Yeah.
just wasn't ready for that. So I had no education to go on. He just presented. He presented my husband's case. Like it seemed like every Friday he was saying, I'm submitting your case to a lung cancer board to see what
Oh,
everybody
okay.
thinks.
Okay.
He's definitely one of those doctors that I love. I cannot sing his praises enough. He's just one of those doctors that he doesn't think he knows everything. He wants to
Yes.
look out
That's
and
good.
find what else can. And he's asked me 2 appointments back. He asked me, says, "So what's the out group saying we should do next if alectinib quits working?" So I mean, stuff like that. He's really,
That's awesome.
yeah. So he had sent him to the lung board several times, and I think that was just the overall what they thought was best for him at the time.
Okay. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I think I heard somewhere, read somewhere, or watched something that I guess when they do start on alectinib and then they go that there's a possibility that they could probably go back. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, if I'm right or wrong, please let me know in the comments. I thought I read or heard someone, or maybe at one of these summits. I don't know. I go to so many, I can't remember. Something about that. Yeah, they'll do alectinib um, and then maybe loratinib, or they could do alectinib and before loratinib they'll go back and try maybe what I'm on, ceritinib or crizotinib, and like go back. So I know I heard that somewhere. I just don't remember when, where, So if anyone knows what I'm talking about, make comments.
And he
Okay, let's
did
see.
do the spacewalk study. They did the liquid biopsy. We've sent that off, and we're waiting to get that back too.
Okay.
So this supposed to, I think, I don't really completely understand it, but I think it's like supposed to see what your resistance are and what your,
Yes.
um, if you have new mutations, I think maybe, but
Yes, yeah, liquid biopsy is great as well. Okay, Sherry says alectinib, I can't even read now, is first line. That is what I started with also, but now failing on it after 15 months. Okay, Sherry, yeah, you're probably right, but I could have swore maybe this was when I was diagnosed. I don't know about now, but I thought the first line was crizotinib and then ceritinib and then alectinib got approved, I want to say maybe back in 2015, or was it a clinical? Yeah, it was a clinical trial, and then it was approved, FDA approved 2015, and then loratinib just got approved, what, 2018? We're 19, yeah, something like that. I try to keep up, it's just so much. So I just thought crizotinib, well, maybe back then when I was diagnosed 5 years ago, crizotinib was the first line, maybe alectinib is now.
I
So
think it is.
yeah. So maybe alectinib is now. So maybe alectinib, loratinib, and then maybe going backwards, do crizotinib, but I know that crizotinib does not, if I'm not mistaken, again, correct me, guys. Crizotinib does not help brain mets.
Right.
Yeah, I know crizotinib doesn't, but see, I didn't have brain mets. I did traditional chemo radiation, and then I started on crizotinib, and that helped me. And then I had progression because it killed, and I had progress. No, I take it back. I didn't have progression. I had reoccurrence, and it went to my liver, and then I was on ceritinib. And believe it or not, I've been on ceritinib for 4 years now.
That's awesome.
Yes, for 4 years. Be quiet. Don't start barking. I have to yell at my dog. He's barking. There he goes. So, so yeah, so that was, so hey, maybe I learned, like I said, I learned some
I
new.
think it
I think I
changes.
know it.
Yes,
Yeah. So,
it changes so
but you know
much.
what? I just know that there is treatment for us. So, for someone who's newly diagnosed, it's your first line to alectinib. Don't lose hope, because after that you have loratinib, and then we still have ceritinib, and we still have crizotinib. So, and there's still more out there. There's a lot of clinical trials. I do recommend for those who are not ALK positive and don't have a targeted therapy, try those clinical trials, try those combos. So,
I think the
So
first
right,
video I watched was with Frank, and that was one thing he said was that each year it's the best year to get lung cancer.
yes,
2018 is really good to, it's better than the year before because it just changes so fast.
yes, yes, and that's why we do what we do to bring treatments, better treatments, more treatments for all of us. Because even they were talking about, maybe it was at a biomarker session that I attended. They were talking about, was it there? Maybe it was, yeah, maybe it was there. They were talking about even for those, so we call them dinosaur lung cancer survivors, the dinosaurs. So let's say, like, for example, Terry, Bobby, and a couple others, they're 10 years, they're 14 years, 15 years. So they've been, what they got diagnosed, like, say, stage 1, 2, I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3. But, and so what if they have reoccurrence? Um, with those targeted therapy work on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I know they were talking about that as well. Um, so we'll see. But I just pray that their cancer does not come back. So then, so now, so they're gonna put him now on loratinib.
It looks like it. Yeah, we're working on the approval now.
Okay,
So I mean, this all happened this week, really.
right.
And today we had the meeting, and like that was another thing. Our doctor was off today, and he met us at the doctor's office just to talk about this
Yeah.
today. So I mean, that's just how blessed we have been with him.
Okay. And then I know in loratinib, keep an eye on him because I know some of the side effects. I know one for sure is his cholesterol is going to go up. So they're most likely he's going to be on cholesterol pills. So watch that diet as well because that'll help. And also, what else? They even said it makes you like depressed or moody or something.
Moody,
And
yes.
I've heard that, yeah. And I've heard some have gotten like suicidal. So please watch. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
Right.
those are some of the side effects. They're kind of horrible. I told my husband I don't ever want to go on loratinib. I rather just like, you know what, because of just that, I'm like, no. I already have to deal with my kidney levels going up and down because I'm on suritinib. On top of that, I'm gonna have high cholesterol. No, and I ain't taking no more pills. I'm sick of taking pills. So I told my husband, God forbid, if, but I don't claim it. I don't claim it. I speak into existence that it ain't ever coming back. But if I'm not, I don't want to take loratinib. There's no way. Okay, let's see. Sherry said loratinib. I go see Dr. Shaw next week, so my oncologist and her will get a plan. I have not progressed, just have ground glass in my good lung. Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, one of my friends, Mary, she goes, your compassion is beyond words. I wish I could have reached out to you while I was going through with my caregiving journey with Rudy. I know, Mary. I know it was hard for you. I did talk to you a few times. I get it. But, you were there for your husband. That was important. You were there for your husband. You helped him. He wasn't alone. And it's hard. Trust me. I know. I don't even have words to tell you. But, even though Rudy's no longer with us, you as a caregiver and everything that you've seen and gone through with him, your story too matters and people need to hear that story. So if you want to ever do this Facebook Live interview with me and again share Rudy's story and your story as a caregiver, let me know. I have openings maybe for September, if not for the first week of October. So your story matters too. And I know it wasn't lung cancer, but cancer is cancer. So just let me know. Um, so Becky, now that you gave us a little, how can I say it, a little story, a little journey with your husband, um, tell us about you, your journey, your story as a caregiver. Share that with us.
Oh gosh, it's been hard. I've actually had these conversations today. I'm the type of person that I'm used to. If somebody in the church is sick, I'll be there quick. Here's a meal. I like to take care of people. So it's
Mhm.
been hard to let people take care of us. That's been a big, a big thing. And, trying to stay strong for him. And then, because he's really quiet, really shy, really, the radiologist asked him yesterday, she said, "Do you have any questions?" He's like, "No, she does. She does all the questions. I never have questions."
Oh.
So I get on the out group and research and look for everything. And our kids, that's been one of the hardest things. Our daughter, I thought she was doing fine, and one day they come out of the bedroom and they're both in tears, and I said, "What is wrong?" And he said, "Well, she says she can't live life without worrying about me." And so I was like, "Oh, that's a mom fail, how did I let this slip by, that she was struggling so bad?" And so it's just one of those things that takes a village and it takes lots of people to help, but then just letting people help and is hard when you're just not used to letting people help. So that's
Mhm.
been one of the hardest things. And then we're just a super close couple. Like we do, the football games and baseball games with the kids together, and you usually don't see one without the other. So it's just been hard to watch him suffer and to watch him and then still try to figure out life still has to go on. The bills still keep coming. The kids
Mhm.
still need to be here and there. So I just I'm part of the out group, caregivers, and I'm part of the out group that has moms and or parents and stuff like that. Really helps just for somebody to understand exactly what you're going through. So if any caregivers are out there, I really suggest find some of those groups that they know exactly what you're feeling. I mean, people can say, "Oh, I know what you're going through," but if you hadn't been there, you don't. As a caregiver, you don't get to go home at night and go to bed and forget about it. You're there when it hurts and when the moments are raw and you can't just check out and take a mental break. It's always there.
Right. A bit of advice that I can give you is even though your husband needs you, and I know you're the caregiver, but you need time for you. You need to force yourself, if that's the right word that I want to use, to, "Are you okay, sweetheart? Okay, I'll be back in a couple hours. Are you okay?" You know he's okay. Go. Go
Right.
get a pedicure, manicure. Go shopping. Go sit by yourself in a theater and watch a movie. Go get a massage. Whatever it is that you like to do. If you want to go just sit and I don't know if there's a botanical garden or something in where you live, or just like a community garden with beautiful flowers, just sit there and smell the fragrance of the flower and just sit there and look at. You need that for you, whatever you like to do.
Right.
Go for long walks, um, but do it because you need to be sane. If okay, so if not, you're gonna, I mean, I don't want to speak those words into existence either, but I've heard stories where people have nervous breakdowns. There was a story that when I was I first started off at Cancer Treatment Centers of America here in Illinois. I live in Indiana, but Illinois, I mean, I'm so close to Chicago and Illinois, so I went there, and I remember, I don't remember who. My husband always shares a story. There was a couple, and the husband was so worried about the wife, and he was overwhelmed because he's a caregiver, overwhelmed with the news and everything, cancer, that right there sitting next to her, he died of a massive heart attack.
Wow.
So then they realized that the caregivers need help, attention, um, all that stuff. So there at cancer treatment centers, I mean, they treated me like queen. So when my husband would come, we would go get massages together. They would do things for the caregiver as well. They took care of the caregivers as well. And that is so important. And that's why I'm glad that, you agreed to do this interview and share your husband's story and what you're going through. Anyone out there, if you have any advice to give her as a caregiver, our husband's just newly diagnosed within the year. And, I know about caregivers because I watched my husband. I took care of my dad. I basically took care of my mom up until she passed, and my father-in-law passed from cancer too. And I wasn't really his caregiver, but I did take him to rides to his radiation and doctors and stuff every chance I got. So I know that role. So
Right.
you do need time for you. Um, And I think, Samantha, if you're still watching, how old are your kids?
I have a 13-year-old son, a 14-year-old son, 13-year-old daughter, and 6-year-old son.
Okay, there is a camp, and I don't remember the darn name. Have
Kiss
they
me.
told? Yes.
Yes.
Is that it? Yes.
Yes.
Send them. Send them. Next year, I think they got to be 18 and under. Send them. They'll go for free.
Yes.
That is going to help your children get through this. I heard, you know what? I wish I knew about this camp, because I would have sent my three daughters that were under, when I was diagnosed, they were under the age of 18. I didn't know. And because of it, thank you, Sarah. And because of it, I think my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter honestly took the wrong turn. Now they're okay. My oldest daughter graduated from college, but the choices that were made, that they made, um, it wasn't where it changed her life forever. But I think she probably looks back and says, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
And I just tell them, don't have that guilt. Hey, it happened for a reason. My youngest daughter, she, I think, really, really went the wrong, took it's the wrong turn. And I think she's starting to now turn back, just a bit. She's not a bad girl. Of course not, but she just did things that I didn't like, and I think they did these things to help them cope with the fact that I don't know if I'm going to lose my mom. And
Right.
so my husband, and when we went to Longevity's Hope Summit, he actually spoke. They asked him if he'll be a speaker for the caregiver site, and he actually spoke and shared the story of what my kids went through. And if I knew about this camp, I would have sent my kids. I just found out about it, I think it was maybe earlier this year. And when I found out, my daughter, right before she turned 18, I was going to send her. And I think, I don't know, I looked it up, and it was like August in the Chicago area. But it was, I don't know why she couldn't go. I don't remember. So, and she's like, Mom, I can't go. So, but like I said, my daughter, she wasn't going to graduate high school. She graduated because I kept pushing. I kept praying and had my church praying over her. She got a full ride scholarship for the first year, and hopefully second year, to a college in Illinois. And she, I don't know how we are going to get her a car. And I was stressing when we were in Puerto Vallarta. What was it, last week? Was I there last week? Yeah, we were there last week. I was telling my husband, oh my gosh, she's going to start school Monday, and we don't have a car. We don't have a car for her. And out of the blue, one of his friends says, oh, I found you a car. We
Wow.
got the car for her, yes. But God, I always say, but God, he comes, even at the last second, he'll come
Right.
through. So we got her a car, so she's driving, but now she's like, I need gas money. I told you how to manage your money. I ain't giving you gas money. Figure it out. But, slowly turning around. But I wish I knew about this camp, because I
Yeah,
would have
they
sent
talked
my
about it at
daughter.
the ALC summit at
Oh
the
my,
parent
I'm glad.
table. So yeah, that was.
Yeah. And I didn't go to the Elk Summit because when I got back from DC,
I was so
uh,
sad.
I know the day I got back from DC, it was on a Wednesday from the Go-To Foundation, the National Advocacy Summit. I swear that Wednesday I took a nap. I woke up with such a fever, and it was 3 days it would not go down. And then on Friday it shot up to 103. And I called my regular doctor, and she said, "Get your butt in the ER." And then I went to go see my two doctors, my cardiologist and my regular doctor. And I'm like, "Look, I gotta go to the summit this week," and they're like, "You're not going nowhere. You stay home and rest." And so, thank God, Crystal bought the ticket. She got a refund, so we're able to get a refund. And so I was so upset. I was like in tears. But it was either I stay home and rest, so I could go to Puerto Vallarta, or that I couldn't do. I could not cancel that because that was for my daughter's 21st birthday.
Right.
So I just chose to stay home and rest, and I did, and go to Mexico for my daughter's 21st, and we had a blast. And so, I feel great now. I'm okay. I don't know what was wrong with me. All I know is I had a fever. I had an infection in my body because my white blood count cells were 15. I was sicker than a dog. They were going to keep me in the hospital, but then my oncologist at University of Chicago Hospital told the ER doctor, send her home, give her some antibiotics and send her home. And it worked because I don't know, they couldn't figure it out. So that's why I missed the Elk Summit. Yeah, I know. I was
We
looking
almost
forward to.
missed because my husband was sick and he ended up not going, but it was only like about a 3 hour drive down. So I drove down just Saturday morning and turned around and came back. And my husband was like, "Well, did you meet your Thursday friend?" Talking about you. And
Yeah.
I said, "No, she was sick. She
Oh,
doesn't get to come." So, but it was still
oh, my
neat to
Thursday
meet.
friend. I like that. I'm her Thursday friend, guys.
Well, that's what
Tell
on
you,
Thursdays I have to watch. I'm like,
yeah.
shh, I'll be quiet.
Well, tell your hubby I love that. Your Thursday friend. I love it. I do. I love it. That is so cute. Tell him I love it. Thank you. But so yeah, so and it's hard. So if anyone out there could give her some advice, you do need. And if you have any questions, guys, please put them in the comments. She can't see them, so I'm gonna read them to her. I know Sherry said, "I wish we had a choice, Juanita." She goes, "I'm so scared to change TK eyes." I know, sweetheart. I know it. I could only imagine. But the best advice I could give you, Sherry, is pray about it, be confident, and leave it in God's hand. But my favorite thing to say, my favorite Bible verse, and I say it all the time to people, is you're scared. Don't. I know it's easy because I get scared too. But I always speak positive words, anything positive into existence. So whatever fear you have, replace that with something positive and speak that. Speak life. Tell yourself every day, I'm living, I'm living, I'm going to live, I'm going to live. And for those side effects, speaking into existence, no side effects, no side effects. I mean, that's what I do. And so try that, Sherry. I know it's, you know, there's believers and non-believers. I don't care if you believe and you don't believe. I tell people all the time, just speak words into existence. Someone out there is listening. If it's God, if it's the universe, if it's Mother Nature, I don't know, but someone out there, I believe in a power, someone above us. What do they call it? God, I can't think of the name. What they call it? Anyways, but you know what I'm talking about. Just speak those words into existence, and just you'll be fine. And just say no side effects, no side effects every day, no side effects. Say it 1,000 times throughout the day. Whatever you're doing, just pops in you, no side effects. Speak it, speak it, speak it, and you'll be fine. I know it's scary, and
One
keep us
thing we
posted.
One thing we talked to the doctor about today was Dr. Shaw had talked about at the summit was that
Hmm.
she felt like 100 milligrams on the lorlatinib was pretty strong, and that I think she had started some of her patients on the 75 and had the same results. Like you were still getting the same response. So we talked to our doctor today. He had actually sent off for him to start on 100, but I said, is there any way to maybe do 75 just to start and see? So he is actually calling in and backing it down to 75 to see how he responds with 75 milligrams. So that could be an option. I've seen some people talking about that not starting off with such a high dose right away.
Right. Okay, great. Yeah, that's great advice. You're welcome, Sherry. And I know you're a believer, but for some that are not, I mean, there's something I believe. I can't think of the word. If it's not God, if maybe it's the universe. I mean, who knows? Maybe the universe is God and God is. We don't know, but there is a greater. God, why can't I think of the word? Someone help me. Um, Divine, is that what the greater? You know what I mean. So, hey, just you're gonna be fine. I'll say a prayer for you because I am a believer. So I'll say a prayer for you. And remember, when you have side effects, dead people don't have side effects. Oh, Lori, her and her higher power. Thank you, Becca. Higher power. Thank you. Why can't I think of that or remember that? Oh my God, my brain is like fried, and I think my body's here in crappy Indiana. I like to say that because Indiana's crappy. We don't have no beaches, no palm trees. We don't even have 4 seasons. We go from summer to winter. So we're in crappy Midwest, Indiana, Chicagoland. But I think my mind is still in Mexico on the beach with the beautiful palm trees and a drink in my hand, celebrating my daughter's birthday all week. So yeah, that's probably
Your
why I
pictures
can't
were
think of it.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So yeah, higher power. Thank you, Becca. And Lori, yeah, she's funny. Um, Lori's straight up. I love her. She's another lung cancer sister. Lori, what mutation are you? Are you ALK? I don't remember. Or did you ever tell me? So, anyways, so I know your husband's newly diagnosed. You guys are new to this, and now you're starting to do your research. You're in groups, and you're learning and you're educating yourself, which is great. Vacation brain. There you go, Lori. Yes, I have vacation brain. And you're and I'm glad that you're educating yourself. Um, but you've been in it almost 2 years, right? It's almost 2 years for hubby.
1 year. September will be 1 year.
Oh, this September will be 1 year. Okay. See, there I go again. She said, Lori said, better than chemo brain. Yeah, I'm going to use vacation brain. Thank you, Lori. Oh my God. You did tell me that earlier. Like I said, my brain is a scatter box right now. I have like 1,000 things going in there. So this September is a year. And so you're very, very new. Okay, so Lori has none. She goes, I have a low PDL. Oh, okay. Thank you, Lori, for sharing that. So, so Becky, for someone who is watching or will watch this video maybe later on, who a caregiver or a lung cancer newly diagnosed patient is watching newly. So let's say they were just diagnosed a week ago, or 4 weeks ago, or 6 weeks ago. Um, from you almost going into a year, what advice can you give them? What what hope can you give them from your journey that is not a year yet to someone who is just diagnosed or a caregiver that is so scared that they don't know what to do and they watch your video? What word of advice can you give them?
Don't Google. That's the number one. Do not Google your symptoms and or your prognosis. Um, I have faith. I don't know where I would be without my faith, my church that prayed for us. I know that first few weeks, everybody says, "Oh, it's the unknown that's the scary. It's the unknown that's the harder part." And yes, it's hard. But for us, each time we found out more information, it got worse and it got worse. So I'm always scared to say the unknown is the hard part, but it is. It is not knowing and not knowing what you're going to do, and it's hard. And then just, but once you get that plan, and once you get that fight mode, and you're ready to go, and just keeping a positive attitude, and it's. I really want to just push, having that faith, knowing that no matter what, he's going, before me. And when my husband was first diagnosed, a lady sent me a text message, and it was talking. It was the Second Chronicles 2015. We have our Price Strong bracelets, and that's our Bible verse. Well, she had sent me that Bible verse, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Well, then the next morning at church, our preacher's wife gave me a cross with that same exact verse on it. So it
Wow.
was just like, the battle is not yours, it's mine. And and so if you believe in the Lord, and just lean on him and let him fight the battle. And that's so hard as humans, and especially I think as moms and wives, we want to take care of everything and be in control. So I would just say, just take a second and breathe. I think sometimes I know the mistakes I made was just, let's hurry up and get an answer, and hurry up and get a plan. But sometimes you just gotta stop, and you gotta breathe, and
Hmm.
just turn it over to him, and let him do what he wants to do, and not what you want to do. And that's
Hmm.
really hard. And I've had a hard time leaning on people and letting people help you. As for a caregiver out there, I mean, I have really let myself just be run ragged, because I don't ask for help, or I won't ask for help. And that's not good. And that's something I've got to work on. So from one caregiver who knows to another, you need help. And so don't be afraid to ask, and let people help you is a big thing. But it's just, I can look back and see the first few weeks that he was diagnosed. It's, I can see where I've came, out of that rough spot where you couldn't even look at me without me crying, or to tell his story, I would, just lose it. And just to, I just always, my prayer was always to be let our story help somebody else. Let us make a
Mm-hmm.
difference. Let somebody see God's love and what He's did in our life for, let them see if somebody else is struggling. Well, maybe if they can get through this with Him, maybe He can help me. That's just always been my prayer
Mm-hmm.
and my hope through this whole journey.
That's awesome. Great advice. Thank you. And that Bible verse that was perfect. That was confirmation right there. That was confirmation. Someone gave you one thing and then you a cross, and that was, and God does talk to us through people. When you see signs like that, that's Him talking to us. And I truly believe that. When I was first diagnosed, the first Bible verse that someone gave me on my when I said it on Facebook before it got out and people started talking, I wanted to let my family know. Once my children knew and my family, then I put it on Facebook and said, it is with great sadness to let you all know that I was just diagnosed with, stage 3 lung cancer. I wasn't even AB yet. They didn't even know. I found out later I was stage 3B. Um, and so that went crazy, and people are like, but you don't even smoke. Again, the stigma.
Right.
But I even said it, hey, I don't smoke. The first Bible verse, and I don't remember who put it out there. It was a friend of mine and put it out there, and it was Isaiah 53:5, and it was a long one, but at the end, by His stripes, you are healed.
Right.
And I didn't understand it until, of course, I started going to church, and then I would Google it. What does this mean? Because I had to know, what does this mean? By His stripes, I am healed. He died on the cross for me. Those stripes were for all of our healing, all of our sins, And I was like, okay. And I always just on that Bible verse, and I would wake up, and as scared as I was, by His stripes I am healed by His stripes. And I personalize it, by His stripes I am healed. And I spoke those words into existence. I said it every day. I would say, I am healed, I am whole, I am healthy, I am healed, I am whole, I am healed by, and I just said it over and over again. I never stopped saying it. And now, even now, I just say, thank you for my healing. Thank you. I'm healed.
Right.
I'm healed forever. Thank you. And I said, cancer is never coming back, never coming back, never coming back. And now I say that. And I believe it. But I remember that. And then I remember going to a church before I started going to the church I went to. I remember going, and that day, and I'm just sharing this with you guys because to me it is true. Like I said, I believe she believes other people believe to, or pray or talk to the universe. That's fine, because I do too. I do that too. Um, because we don't know if God is probably the universe. The universe is God. We don't know. Um, so I remember at a church, and I remember praying when I was sitting there and crying, because I said, Lord, I at least want to meet one grandchildren. I want to experience, I want to know what it feels like to be a grandmother. And I remember just praying in that. And I was walking out the door, and this lady comes up to me, and she goes, I just wanted to tell you, God told me to tell you that not to worry, you are going to meet your grandkids. And I was just like, oh, and I looked at her in tears. I remember, now she didn't know me from a can of paint. Never seen this woman in my life. I don't know her. She didn't know me. But we're both walking out, and she found me. She was walking around and came up to me and grabbed me and
That's
told me
amazing.
that. I'll
Wow.
never forget that. Never. And I remember I started crying like crazy, like, oh my God. And look, I met my first grandchild, guys. Now, this was a totally strange woman that came out to me at a church that I started going to at first before I started going to my church. And and I was praying to God that, please let me, I just want to experience to be a grandma. I want to know what it feels like, and praying. And she came out to me, a total stranger, and gave me those words. God, if
Awesome.
that is powerful right there.
Yes.
And then another one, I went to the Holy Land. My mother-in-law took me back in, let me see, I was diagnosed in 14. So in 15, so it was October of 2015 into November. I spent my birthday out there. And I went for healing. My mother-in-law took me. She's like, I'm going to take you. I'm like, really? I said, that's expensive. She's like, don't worry about it. We're going. Went. Now, mind you, everything was in Spanish. I know Spanish, but I always tell people, I don't know biblical Spanish, the words in Spanish. So I would tell my mother-in-law, what is that? And they would tell me in English, oh, okay. But I had the time of my life with my mom. My mother-in-law's Catholic, so, and I'm not non-denominational, but it doesn't matter. We were all there for one purpose, and they all knew, and they would all pray for me. And I had her Catholic friends and stuff just praying for me, and I'm visiting. Oh my God, it was the most beautiful experience. But the day of my birthday, guys, now listen to this. The day of my birthday, I was kind of sad because I wasn't home with Steve and the kids. And I was kind of depressed because I should have been happy. I'm in the Holy Land celebrating my birthday. I was in Bethlehem where Christ was born on the day of my birthday. Now that was no coincidence. God planned that. Right. And I remember we went to, you have to, it's a line and you have to go through where supposedly they think where Christ was born, right? So where the manger is and all that. So, they kind of like figured out where it's at. So we remember going through there and there was oil there. And so one of the church sisters, her name was Gloria, got oil and she was like putting it all over me. I'm like, okay, Gloria, relax, just a little dab here and there. And then she was all of a sudden. Now Catholics, I don't know if they believe in this or not, but I know in the non-denominational, they say you get drunk in the Holy Spirit. So the Holy Spirit went in her and she was like dazed, and that has happened to me. And so people were like, well, what's wrong with her? I go, she's drunk in the Holy Spirit. Leave her alone. God is doing something in her. God's working in her. Just leave her alone. She's going to be fine, because I knew about that. And then we had to move. So I told some gentlemen, can you help me take her upstairs? Because she was like really out of it. And then she kind of like came out of it. And then we went upstairs and she like kind of almost dropped. And I said, grab her. She's going to fall, because you fall. And they were holding her. I'm like, she's fine. Just hold her. And then all of a sudden she snapped out of it. It was like she just like came up. And I was looking at her because I was like leaning against something because I was tired and I wasn't feeling good that day. And I was leaning, and then she's like, where's Juanita? Where's Juanita? And she looked at me and she runs to me, guys. Now we're at supposedly where the manger's at. She runs to me and she grabs me. She goes, Juanita, you are healed. Just like that. And I looked at her like she was crazy. At first I go, yeah, I know. That's why I'm here. I told her, I'm here in the Holy Land. I know I'm healed. I'm going to get my healing. She goes, no, you are healed. Just like that. Like telling me it's gone. And mind you, I hadn't even, I was still, she goes, you are healed. She goes, you're healed. And I'm like, okay, did God tell you or something? She goes, you're healed. Well, she went into this trance with the Holy Spirit, and God must have told. She just snapped out of it, ran to me, grabbed me, and says, you are healed. It's gone. You're healed. Your cancer is gone. And I'm like, oh, and then I just started crying. We started jumping up and down. We looked like two crazy women. I'm like, I'm healed. She goes, you're healed. It's gone. And I knew that's why she went in that trance. And God was telling her, now go tell her. And that's how he communicates to us. And I remember calling my husband crying. He goes, I'm healed. He goes, yeah, you are. I go, no, I'm healed. I got healed here in the Holy Land. He goes, why do you think my mom took you? And I'm like, well, yeah. Sure enough, that was November 3rd on my birthday, 2015. A month after I got back on the 5th or 6th, I don't remember. I had my appointment at the University of Chicago Hospital December 1st or 2nd, 2015. My doctor was retiring. That was the last time he was going to be my doctor. He walks in, guys, with the paper. And my oldest son was there, and my husband. And you know what he told me? He goes, you are a walking miracle. And I fell to the floor, and I gave all the praise and glory. I'm going to start crying to our Heavenly Father. And my husband he goes, I knew it. And those are the signs. Those are the things that cannot be explained. And so therefore, like there is, a higher power. I believe that, God, universe, whatever, there is a higher power. There is someone out there. I truly believe that. And I'm just sharing the story, just like Becky shared her story with how prayers and her church and her faith has got her through. That's what got me through, and that's why I'm here today. And I truly believe in that. And I'm just sharing this because maybe someone out there needs to hear this. someone out there needed to hear my story about my experience with God and the Holy Spirit or a higher power of the universe, whatever you guys want to call it. The same with Becky. It's helped her and her husband get through this journey. And Becky, because of your faith and because you believe and you know, and I know your husband, and I know you're going to be scared, and I know because I've been there, but replace that with hope, replace that. And I know that your husband's going to be okay and you guys are going to be okay. I just know it. And just keep praying and just, and don't give up, but find time for yourself. Find time to do something. Go out with your girlfriends for coffee or for tea, or go out with your girlfriends, have dinner or something, whatever. Do that. Find that time for yourself and try to make it a habit. You deserve it. There's a lot on your plate. There's a lot on your shoulder. There's a lot in your heart. And I know your mind is racing, but please do that for yourself. You deserve it as well. I wish I lived closer, girl, because I'd be like, come on, I'll make you work out, because workout releases stress, girl. It does. It releases stress. So, find something and do it away from, do it with the kids, but you need time for you. Me
Right.
time, away from the kids, away from your husband. He's fine. He's doing good. Go have a cocktail with your girlfriends or whatever. I mean, I don't know if you drink or not. Some Christians do drink, some Christians don't.
I'm
I
Baptist. We don't
say,
drink. Yeah,
okay,
them
I
Southern
know.
Baptist.
Okay, so you don't. Okay, coffee, tea, iced tea, sweet tea.
We got
You
sweet tea
guys
in
in
the
the
South.
South, there you go, sweet tea. Just to get out, have breakfast. Like I said, some Christians do, some Christians don't. I don't really drink, only on special occasions. So my pastor's watching. Sorry, but I don't, really only on special occasion, or if I'm really like having a bad day or stressed out, and there's a beer in the fridge, and I'm gonna drink that beer. But other than that, and I like at the summit and stuff, yeah. So yeah, I kind of do, but I'm not like one of those raging alcoholics or one of those, I just feel that I don't think God is gonna send me to hell or not bless me or whatever because I had a few
Right.
drinks. I don't I believe,
Right.
So I used to drink wine. I don't drink wine anymore, but I am always been a beer drinker, so I kind of stick to beer. But like I said, I truly believe. I mean, He's not gonna bless me or take my blessings away, or I'm not gonna be highly favored because I drink
Right.
here and there. No, that's not true. But everyone to each his own. Because I didn't drink for a very long time, and I think after when my mom died, it's been 2 years. I think I kind of did because I was so stressed that I just needed something to relax me, and I just got to my beer or whatever. But that's just really about it. But yeah, iced tea or sweet tea, just find time for you to de-stress yourself, to
Right.
release yourself. Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that you got your church family and your church behind you and helping you. And please ask for help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. I was going to ask you before I end and before we leave. I know that when I was diagnosed, my friend Judy, she's watching. She started. I mean, I don't remember the name. Judy, if you're still watching, what's the name of that um, link or website where people will sign up to bring meals to you? I can't remember the name,
Meal
but
train.
what is it called?
Meal train.
No, I think it's a different one, but that works, whatever that is. But so Judy set it up, and then everyone was sharing it on Facebook, and then friends would type in there like the days that they would bring food.
Yeah.
So my husband was with me at where I started off at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. He was with me. He wasn't home, and my mom was elderly, and she tried to cook. So my kids were here, and it was still school year. So I had people that would they would help out, and oh my God, that was a blessing.
Yes.
And for all you people that did it 5 years ago to help my kids, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart because you did help us and you made, you did so much for us, and I thank you. And remember, what you do for others, God will reward you double, triple. That's just how it works. You're kind to others, God will bless you. That's how it works. And so I try to be kind. I mean, I know sometimes it's hard, we're humans, but I try to be kind because I want my blessings. So look into that. Something meals. Oh God, I know I had meals in it, but that would help you guys out as well. There's going to be times that you can't cook. appointments, or your husband's not feeling well and you have to attend them. And it's stressful. But, God, if someone knows someone, if you know someone that knows about that meal thing, or the one that you mentioned, ask a friend if they could do that for you, just to help. Or you could do it yourself. You don't have, just set it up, share it on
Right.
Facebook. Don't be ashamed to do it. Do not be ashamed. We all need help. And that helped my kids, my mom, my family so much, and my brother would come here a lot to help with the kids. So if anyone knows what I'm talking about, put it in the comments, because I forgot the name, something meals, and you sign up. Your friends will sign up, and then do that, because, and even though I don't live in your state, um, I think you could look up restaurants near you, and I could order the food and they'll send it to you. But I think it was whatever restaurants were participating, because I remember some were delivered to my house. Either people would bring it or it was delivered. And I think there was a way where you could look it up, and I don't think it's Meals on Wheels, Carolyn. It was Meals, I know, but it wasn't. I know what Meals on Wheels is, and I thought that was for seniors, for
Yeah.
senior citizens. Yeah, it wasn't that. It was a website, and you sign up, and so let's say that they gave my name, my address, East Chicago, Indiana, zip code, and then it had dates. So let's say you do it for a month, or you want to do it for 2 months, or 6 weeks, or 4 weeks, or whatever, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And it had the dates, and then you pick the day that you want to bring food. And then it will send them a reminder. Don't forget, today is the day, or tomorrow is your turn to take Juanita Segura some food. And then I thought that you were able to look up restaurants nearby that would deliver the food too. But it was meals in there, but it wasn't Meals on Wheels. But thank you, Carolyn. Um, and so look into that. If Jude, I don't think Judy's watching, because she would have responded, because Judy set it up, and she did it for
I
me.
did
But
actually. We had a friend that did. It was called the Meal Train, I think, and they did that when he was first diagnosed, and it was a big help. But we've
okay,
been
so you
we've been
did that
doing so
already. Okay,
good for so
yeah,
long. Like he's been working like normal. It's just been like just in the last 3 weeks, it was just bam, quit. But we've had
yeah.
people who just have popped in. We're bringing you food today, because people will say,
Okay,
"Well, what
good.
can we bring you?" And I'm like, I don't know, and because he hasn't been eating, and so it's hard
Yeah,
to tell him what. And I said, I'm back to the point where when he was first diagnosed, it was moment by moment. I couldn't even live day to day. And I feel
yeah.
like with all this going on, we're back to moment. And I can't even think, okay, it's morning. What do I need to do this afternoon? It's just been so hard. We've had people step up and, just pop in. Because
Good.
I think a lot of times they're, well, can I bring you something? I'm like, no, because I don't want to be a burden, or I don't want to be a
No,
bother.
you're not a burden. You're
So
not.
they're like, I'm
Let
bringing
them.
this. Yes,
Let
that's
them
my new
bring it.
goal.
Yes, let them bring it. If they call and says, hey, oh, thank you so much. You don't know how much I appreciate it. Because that's their blessing to you. They're blessing you with food. They're helping you out. Don't turn it away. Just say, thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. And thank them. And that's a blessing for you. And then now they're going to get their blessing. So don't ever turn it away, honey. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know. But don't. And then you guys, I know it's going to be a year. After the year, things are going to get better. You're going to start feeling more better. So is your husband. And then Lorette and Neb, I'm going to pray and pray and pray. And I know that it's going to work for him. And I'm going to pray for no serious side effects, and get you guys up. And then you're going to feel strong and confident like I am. And like everyone else, all the lung cancer sisters and brothers that are watching, and caregivers, we're strong and confident. And then now you're going to go full force in the advocacy. And then now you're going to be that voice. And you could be alongside with my husband and be that voice for caregivers.
Yes.
I mean, I wish he would get more involved, but he's so busy. He's a like jack of all trades. Right now he's working late, and he tried calling me, and that's why he put, hi babe. I go, sorry, I had to decline your call. I'm on Facebook Live. But he's so busy. But he will get involved if they ask him, if longevity or any organization ask him to do. Oh, he will. That he'll say. He'll never say no. He'll say yes. But I wish he was like more involved. But there's a reason, for everything. And I just, like I told a gentleman earlier, I said, you know what? God has set my steps. to where he wants me to go, and he is my driver. And I just trust and believe in him. And wherever he wants to drive me to and through, then go right ahead. You're the driver. I'm in the back seat. What do you want me to do now? What advocacy work you want me to do now? Where, all stuff like that. I just let him guide me. And if, sometimes I'm like, well, I really wanted to do this and I didn't get the chance or opportunity. And I was talking to a church sister today, and her name is Millie. Everyone calls her Mama Millie. And I tell her, I says, you know what, Millie, I really wanted this. I didn't get it. She goes, because it wasn't meant to be. She goes, and I go, and it's good. And for you, you're thinking, oh, this is great. This is awesome. I could do this. But it wasn't what God wanted you. Maybe that was not your purpose yet.
Right.
Maybe there's something that you still need to go through to get to where you want to go. I want to go here, but God has me going like this because there's a reason. And so I didn't understand that until I talked to Millie, and she brought that into perspective. So then I got a better understanding. I'm like, okay, I need to stop being a crybaby and just let God drive me, take the wheel, because he knows what's best for me. He has put me in all these places for a reason. And he put this in my heart to do these Facebook Live videos for a reason. So to get me to my purpose. And I'm not there yet, but I know that we're all going to get to our purpose. Right. And I truly believe all this happens for a reason, because maybe how I see it, if none of us would have got lung cancer, or our spouses or our significant other or our moms or dads or whatever, and then lung cancer wouldn't be the awareness and the research and the education wouldn't be growing the way it has grown within the last 5 years I've been diagnosed, if he didn't allow all of us to get lung cancer. So I tell people I don't see it as what's the word I'm trying to use? I see it as a blessing.
Right.
Because of lung cancer, I am who I am today, and I'm helping others. So maybe that's what needed to happen. We all just had to, your husband had to, I had to, we don't know. But because of all of us, and because of these organizations getting bigger, like Longevity, Go To Foundation, Lung Cancer Foundation of America, getting bigger and bringing the awareness, and all of us united and being that voice, now we're being heard. Now we're getting the funding. We're getting better research. So, if not, then lung cancer would have been down here, and more would have died instead of surviving. So I look at it that way, and see it as not necessarily a positive or negative, but I see it as it had to be done in order for lung cancer to be, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And I can tell you, personally, your Thursday nights really helped me, especially hearing different people and their different stories, and of course, your positive attitude every time you're on, and it's like, I can breathe. There is hope. And I know, like, Frank was my first story I ever watched, and his story is, really powerful, and so it definitely is making a difference. I know it did for me, and every Thursday you can find me on. So I'm just like, okay, it's 9 o'clock, y'all be quiet.
Oh, well, Becky, I am so happy. I am so thankful, and it blesses my heart to know that my videos have helped you. And that's the reason why I did this, to help anyone and everyone out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be lung cancer or cancer. You could be going through another illness, but these videos is just to bring hope, and I'm here to tell you to fight and to be positive. And I wish that everyone could be like me, strong and positive, and just, taking whatever illness by the horn and just taking it down. And I'm hoping that because of my attitude and because of my fight and me being so positive and my strength, that it's contagious to the rest that might not be like that it's contagious. And if I could help just one person, I've done God's will. I've done the purpose that I was put on this earth to do. And so it brings I don't want to cry because I am a crier. So I try not to cry as much on my videos. I am a crier, but it just brings um, God, happiness to me that it's helping you. And I just hope it helps everyone out there as well. And that's why I do it. I do it from the bottom of my heart and the kindness of my heart. Um, and I know that God has more for me to do. God, I'm trying not to cry. And I just have to trust him and just let him lead me. Just the same with you, Becky. Trust him and let him lead you, and he will. And I'm glad that you watch my videos every Thursday, and maybe hopefully get hubby to watch one as well. Maybe it'll help him as well. I mean, it
Yeah,
will.
he listens. If they're being quiet, I don't put my
Uh,
earphones in so he can listen. And just like this just shows, we were listening one day and somebody said, I think you might even said my oncologist, and he says, "Do I have one of those?" And I said,
yeah. Oh.
Yes, you have one of those. I mean, like, he is super smart, but he just does
Yeah.
it. He lets me
Yeah.
handle all his. I tell him all the time, like, does he really have to come to the doctor? Can you not just talk to me? He's just the body.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but he listens sometimes when they're being quiet, but sometimes they get loud. I'm like, all right, I'm putting my earphones in. I can't hear.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? He could always go back and
Right,
watch them if he doesn't, on your Facebook page or on YouTube. Have a YouTube channel. He could go on there and he could listen to all of them. The first few are very echoey and static because we didn't figure out until I interviewed Jill that we had to use headphones. But I mean, you could still hear the story. I mean, I
right,
know it's annoying, but they're there. So if he ever wants to, go on my YouTube channel and just listen to on his own time by himself and get himself, just to learn. And it
right,
does. This helps a lot of people. And every Thursday it's different. And every Thursday I said, Lord, guide and lead the way. Whatever you want me or whatever you want whoever I'm interviewing, come out of their mouth. Um, you guide them because I know that whoever's watching had to hear that message. That's how I
right,
see it. Some of them are funny. Some of them are real serious. Some of them are like this. I mean, everything is different. So I just like I felt like I had to share some of my stories about my encounter with God and the Holy Spirit because I just felt that someone needed to hear that.
right,
So when I feel it in my heart, I'm like, okay, someone needs to hear this. Boom, there you go. And maybe they're not watching now, but maybe because they're at work, they'll go back and watch it and
right.
hear it. So you never know. So, but Becky, thank you so much because I know by you it's later and I don't want to keep you up any longer. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing your husband's story, for sharing your story. Um, this is the beginning of your advocacy. You can after I'm done and I finish and if I post it, share it wherever you want to share it, share it, share it, share it. Once I post this, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna put elk hashtag elk positive because if people look up elk, they'll find these videos as well. And I think I didn't do caregiver. I got to do hashtag caregiver on that as well. So caregivers could because I think I did it for my husband. So caregivers could come and watch this video and anyone out there, of anybody, you want to share your story, let me know. I love to do these Facebook Live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Again, share, go to my YouTube channel, let people know, contact me, share your story. Your story is important. Help me, help Becky, help all of us bring more awareness for lung cancer. We need to make lung cancer as big as breast cancer is and other cancers. It's not just breast cancer. It is lung cancer. It is not a smoker disease. Please don't tell someone if you meet someone that has lung cancer, please don't ask them, did you ever smoke? Just, say, oh, okay, I know about lung cancer. I watch Juanita's Facebook Live interviews, whatever, but don't ask anyone if they ever smoke. It's not a smoker disease. And so what if they smoke? No one deserves lung
Right.
cancer. Tobacco industry, other people, they've lied to everyone. So just just be sympathetic and just pray for those that are suffering with this horrible, awful disease, but help us bring awareness. So again, Becky, thank you so much from the
Thank you for
bottom of my
having
heart.
me.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm glad I got to meet you this way. I know soon I will meet you and hubby face to face in person and give you guys a big hug, bear hug. And again, thank you. And look into that camp for your kids for
Yes,
next year.
yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you,
All right.
everyone, for
Thank you.
watching.
Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, share, share, share. Thanks. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye bye.